Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online divorce, mediation, and valuation services in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we will discuss the Unimpeachable Rebuttal with Zachary Meyers, a CVA and CPA in Winfield, West Virginia. He is a testifying expert and has been qualified as an expert in the forensic accounting, taxation, business valuation, and pension valuation fields, specifically in civil, marital, and criminal litigation. In your article, you also talk about some rebuttal techniques that you see are biggest red flags, because what I think people don't understand is that valuation people are going to see through some of this stuff. The attorneys might be confused, the clients might get confused, but other professionals. But what do you see as some big red flags in a report or a technique?
Sure. Well, one of the things, and this maybe speaks more to damages, but it also goes to valuation. When you see a complete lack of an opinion, and you also is sort of juxtaposed to inflammatory language. There's even in the NACVA standards, for example, you have review reports, and you may or may not provide your own opinion of value. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you see inflammatory language coupled with someone who just picks apart everything in a disingenuous way, but doesn't provide any sort of way to fix it or better way, and all they're doing is either attacking a specific assumption per se, you got to be careful with that, because there's a professional way to do that and there's a very unprofessional way to do it. And you'll see that they don't have any opinion whatsoever. All they do is talk about the problems and have no solution.
Mm-hmm.
You also see where they'll say that the expert doesn't. They'll say that you didn't consider something. That's the soundbite that all attorneys try to get in your depositions and even at trial. They want to get you to say, "Oh well, yeah, I didn't think about that. I didn't factor that into my calculation." And then the next step will be to attack the reliability or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as I said earlier, the best way to mitigate that, anything you write, for one, you need to just try to have a sound basis. Even your presentation can be the type of presentation that facilitates the trier of fact with being able to make to understand the facts and evidence better, which is what we're here to do, and be able to maybe even adjust as they need to. I know with my damage reports, I provide a cumulative annual total for my damages. So if the judge and jury want to adjust the damage period to a shorter period for whatever reason, based on the full body of evidence, they can. I'll provide you with damages to age 67, but if you want to look at something else because some medical thing comes in that shortens their life expectancy and their work life expectancy, well, then you can take that into consideration. So you can protect yourself by writing and building your assumptions in a neutral, unbiased, and sort of facilitating way. But whenever someone attacks your stuff, that's when you will come back with, well, here's why I did this. Here's why I selected this assumption, and that you'll be able to mitigate some of these issues. But generally, the flags are not hard to see. They're hard to control your reaction to some of this stuff. I mean, literally, it's kind of a weird situation because most people don't have PhDs writing thick expert reports trashing them. And so, like you said earlier, you have to not take it personal, and you have to have to keep a little bit of humor about it. You have to sort of try to not take anything personal and try your best to not project or reflect the same negative energy in your report that they're projecting, because
Yeah. Well, because I've had it happen on the stand more often than not. And I think that people need to understand that judges are there and they want control over the decision-making process. And I've had it happen more often than not that an attorney will do something, right? And then the judge will say, I will decide if I agree with Melissa's position or Zach's position. I will decide based on the testimony, based on the facts, based on the evidence, based on the reports, right? And in my mind, that's where, again, if you can stand in your own sort of knowledge, right? And not be, because it is strategy to try to get you to shake, right? Him telling me that I was lying was a strategy because we were 5 hours into a 7 hour deposition. So it was time for him to go for the jugular because I would have been tired and exhausted and then come for him. And, there was even a strategy of how far I came for him, right? And how I could correct him, but not, I mean? It's true. Like I couldn't go after him, but I had to stake kind of like a line, like you're close to the line, buddy, but I'm not going to cross it. So if you want to come over here, that's fine. But the judges see that. So if you have even an attorney that's trying to cross-examine you and instigate, it's the same situation. If you continue to just testify to what you're there for and not really get emotional, they're like, oh, maybe that expert is neutral because they're just talking about the stuff. They're not like, listen, judge, this is right. Like, this is better than his. Zach is wrong. Like then we start to look and sound like the parties who are very emotionally charged because of the event. Right. And so I think that that's where, I've even had attorneys where after, they did the whole deposition, they're like, hey, Melissa, how's it going? Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Like we know these people.